going on, everyone? Welcome to the bonus episode. I promised you guys we were going to talk Scream, and I'm all excited. I have my ghost face on, ready to talk Scream 6, which came out on Friday. For dorks like me, I went on Thursday, and here we are, ready with a bonus episode to give you. I have my notes, I have my thoughts to give you my thoughts, my reviews. Listen, I'm a big, huge horror buff fan. Wes Craven, who was the original director of the Scream movies, may he rest in peace. He Wes Craven, a mastermind who's also known for Nightmare on Elm Street, one of my other favorite scary movie of all time. My boy Freddy, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, best horror movie, my favorite of all time. So there's no surprise that I'm a huge Scream fan. Listen, the movie came out in 1996, 7. I was like an adolescent at that point. So to be in my 30s and here we are still talking Scream, new Scream movies. I'm a fan. And Scream 6 at that. Scream 6. So let's scream. Yeah, just like that. Yes, let's get ready to scream. So, first of all, Scream 6 came out. Let's talk requels and sequels and stuff because you're going to hear that a lot. You heard it a lot last movie, Scream 5. A sequel, a published broadcast or record work that continues the story and develops the theme of an earlier one. But now we are also calling Scream 5 and its follow-ups a requel. A movie which revisits the subject matter of an earlier film, but it's not a remake or linear continuation of its plot. And here's where we kind of are with Scream, with the, Scream 5, Scream 6. Let's get into the movie, right? The opening scene. Scream is known for their iconic opening scenes. Scream 1, we had Drew Barrymore. No one expected someone like Drew Barrymore to die so early on in the original Scream Part 1 movie. So those type of opening scenes really became iconic because you just never know what's going to happen. Same thing with Scream 2. We had Jada Pinkett Smith, Omar Epps dying right at the top of the movie. Killing off the black people first, tisk tisk. But there we go. And so on and so forth as we continue. Even Scream 3, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched those movies, Scream 3 opened and it was shocking because someone who basically survived the last movie died right at the top of Scream 3. Not even in the middle, right at the top. Cotton Wary, I'm talking about you. So opening scenes for Scream have always been iconic and a thing. So let's get to Scream 6 opening scene. Unexpected. I will give you that. I golf claps to the filmmakers, the writers, and stuff and such because this opening scene was definitely different than the other ones. And again, you may hear some spoiler alerts here. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you still haven't watched it, I'm going to give some spoilers away. Unfortunately, I'm trying not to, but to really get into this bonus episode and talk about things, there's some reveals I'm gonna have to do. So the opening scene was definitely not expected. And I applaud them for that. So you're definitely going to go into this movie. If you think you know what to expect at the beginning, throw it out because you're gonna be like, like it's a good opening scene. So and different. Remember, if you're a Scream fan, you also know that there's like basically a movie within the movie. There's the Stab movies that was written into the Scream movies because the Stab movies basically are based on the lives of the characters in the Scream movies, if you're following. So remember, you have a Stab, at this point with Scream 6, you have a Stab cult following. So here when I say Stab cult following, so that's going to make sense when you watch the opening scene of the Scream 6. Definitely different, definitely good. Definitely applause to that. It could have been corny. It could have been the same typical, okay, a girl's dying type of thing or whatever. But I like where they went with the twist at the beginning of the movie Scream 6. One thing as we continue going, the movie starts. One thing that I loved that I found funny overall, little liners and things on the movie was, and it's so funny that Jenna Ortega's character Tara says this in the movie. Literally, I thought this to myself before going to the movies, damn, because I was watching all the Scream movies leading up to Scream 6, and I'm like, damn, okay, all these killings and stuff, but when you really think about it, and I don't know anyone else out there has thought this, but when you really think about it, these kills just really last like a day or two. Like it's not really like they're being killed off over a week course, a month course. It's like really just taking place a day or two. And it's so funny because then I go see the movie and bam, Tara has a line that says, what happened to us for 3 days is not going to determine, I guess, the rest of my life, et cetera, et cetera. And I was like, oh shit, it's true. Like, I'm glad that they're really highlighting that because it is true. It's like, wait, these killings and these events really just happening in a day or two. But we obviously into the movie, we're not really thinking, and it seems like it's going on for a prolonged time, but it's facts. Like these killings are happening just 2, 3 days. Um, I would tell you this at the beginning, at the top of the movie, and even before I went to the movie, just with some of the new characters, the trailer and such, I had a feeling of who the killer was going to be. But more on that as we get more. I'm going through my notes, more on that as we get through this review. Um, you know, I have to say overall, I would give um this movie before I get into like the killers and the reveal and motives and such. Um, overall, it was a great movie. It's based in New York, so I had to go as a New Yorker myself. It added a like a heightened elevation of like looking forward to go see it because it's like this is based in New York. This was in New York, so it adds a new element to it, especially after what five, just being the sixth one. It's cool to have it in New York. We know we're definitely gonna see a Scream 7, that's for sure. But this one, I would say in my rankings, it's definitely better than Scream 5. I definitely think it was better than Scream 5 in the sense that again, it was like I just think the opening kill scene was unexpected. The ending, which we're gonna get to, was a little unexpected. Although I did know which who one of the killers was at the top of the movie. There was a lot of surprises and a lot of intensity. I would say so out of Scream 6, definitely better than 5. Now let me give you my ranking. Scream 2 will always be my top. That is a sequel. If you want to talk about great sequels out there, just in general, horror category put aside, Scream 2 is one of the best sequels out there. Now, with that being said, Scream 2 is at the top of my list, followed by Scream 1. I mean, Scream 1's iconic. Scream 1 started it all. Then for me, I think it goes with, I would say boldly, I will put Scream 6 at number 3. Scream 3 will be number 4. That's where, for me as a fan back in the day, Scream 3 started kind of lost me. It was good, but it was like, compared to 1 and 2. Although I know a lot of little nuggets and behind the scenes rewrites and stuff that happened from what we've seen. The movie was supposed to be something else. But because of the shootings, I believe it was the Columbine shootings or some high school shooting around that time, the writers rewrote things and changed some things and such. Scream 3 was actually supposed to have more than one killer as well, for the people who don't know. But let's continue. Scream 3 is at the number 4 position. I will put no, Scream 3 is number 5 position. I will put, honestly, the last two spots is between Scream 4 and Scream 5 itself. But I'm actually going to put Scream 5 above Scream 4. Yeah, Scream 4 wasn't bad, but is at the bottom of my list out of all the Scream rankings. Now, back to this thing. Overall, out of 10 Ghostface, I give this Scream movie a good solid 8.5. We haven't talked Sidney Prescott. As you guys all know, we reported on this on the podcast, Neve Campbell was not returning to this part because of the disrespectful, and I quote, amount of money that they try to offer her. They try to lowball her for what she feels she is worth. And I mean, she's worth it. She started the franchise. She's fucking Sidney Prescott. But with that being said, honestly, and this is coming from a big Neve Campbell fan, a big Sidney Prescott fan, she made those movies. To have 5 movies with her and then all of a sudden not have it, going into it, I didn't know what to expect. But to be honest, this is coming from a fan. Her presence wasn't, you did not feel her her presence. Like her not being in a movie didn't make you feel like, oh, something's missing, or like the movie carried on. It honestly carried on very well without her. Now, one of the things I love about this break for Nev Cameron. I call it a break, a pause, because I truly believe they're going to look, movie studio. Hello, do you hear me? I know you guys will do right and pay my girl what she deserves for the next movie. So I know she will come back. I know we will see Sydney Prescott again in a Scream movie. And listen, maybe it wasn't needed her being in this part, because maybe we'll make Scream 7 fresh, having her face back on our screen. So her presence definitely wasn't that noticed and felt. So kudos to the writers and kudos for the cast as well, because it takes a great cast to really, make you feel like, especially the legacy characters, that they're no longer there. As we know, spoiler alert, Dewey died in the last part, so less legacy characters. We did have Courtney Cox, Miss Gail Weathers herself there, and things looked a little bleak there for her as well. But more on that, actually, let's talk about, as we move forward, let's talk about the survivors. Listen, Scream, back in the days, there used to be like what, the final girl, maybe the love interest, and two other people, like a few people. I've started to notice since last Scream, and especially this Scream, the writers, whoever, they're trying to save too many lives, even when we think they've died. So it's like in the movie. So, you're going to see, damn, this person's alive. Great. Oh, this person's alive too. Like, you're going to be surprised, but it's also going to make, the way I felt was like, so we just saving a lot of people, like just giving lives here and there. Like, but it builds for the next movie. But yeah, there's a lot of survivors, and I was a little unimpressed with that. I'm like, oh, last movie there was a lot of survivors. Why so many survivors again this time around? Let's get into the killers. Another surprise, and again, spoiler alert, I'm about to reveal the number of killers. So if you don't want to know, it's time. You can maybe skip this, forward this, but I was surprised. This is why I also think this was a great movie, and it did pretty good. Because the kill, although I knew which one of the killers, but this part had three killers, and we've never seen three killers before. So let's just call it a family affair, and we'll just leave it at that. The motive makes sense to the last one. Honestly, without giving much away, if you watch part 1 and 2 of Scream, right, and then you watch one, and then you see two, and the killers and their motives, just have that in the back of your mind with this movie. You have that the last one that came out, Scream 5, the reboot prequel, and then we have this one. And again, the motives, the killers and their motives make sense. It's tied to part 1. It's a little underwhelming because it's like, oh, it's kind of like Scream 1 and 2, like the motive. But you guys will see for yourself. We'll see going forward. I mean, I can see why their motives in this part. We know there's going to be a Scream 7. I would love to see the killer and their motives then. Also, in this movie, though, they made a reference, which in the Scream fandom out there and all the blogs, all the message boards, there's a lot of talk about Stu Macher, one of the original killers from part 1, being alive. They reference that. I mean, a lot of people talk about that, but in the movie within themselves, they reference him possibly being alive. So I don't know if that was a little nugget thrown out there, maybe what we could expect with Scream 7 and so on. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but definitely overall, out of 10 Ghostface, a solid 8.5 Ghostface. I give Scream 6. And I mean, out of the 6, it now ranks at number 3 for me. Is at number 3, my number 3 spot. So that may change, but as of now, it's number 3. So I love how the movie within itself talked about requels and sequels and even franchises. And we did a poll on our Inner Circle Instagram page. Go follow if you guys don't. We did a poll basically asking, the people, what do you guys think are franchises, movies that have continued going and giving us more, like Scream. A lot of people voted that Fast and the Furious is a franchise, which, I mean, 10 movies I think they have, or 9. We're going on the last one soon. So I definitely agree. Fast and the Furious is definitely a franchise. for sure. Some people said Harry Potter, Mission Impossible, um, Star Wars. Star Wars was very up there. 69% of you guys voted Star Wars as a franchise. Definitely agree with that. There was some Pirates of the Caribbean, some Twilight. As for scary movies, a lot of people voted. It was really up there between Scream and Halloween as movie franchises. What are y'all thoughts? Do y'all consider some of those movies franchises? Let us know in the comment, message us, and let us know what you guys thought about Scream 6. Leave your comments below. Yeah, again, y'all can message us. What are your thoughts on Scream? Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this review, these thoughts, these Scream talk, because we love Scream. So, again, let us know your thoughts and comments on the movie. 8.5 out of 10 Ghostface I give the movie. Definitely, it takes the number 3 spot out of the top 6 Scream movies right now. And again, it was really cool. Opening scene, fresh and new. Didn't that was for a fan like me a curveball what to expect. Even the at the end the reveals of not one, not two, but 3 Ghostface killers. Although one of them is very apparent. But yeah, it was a great movie, and you know you're going to be pleasantly surprised. There's some things that may make you be like, for me, it was the amount of survivors, and just one or two little things that I'm like, especially at the beginning, someone dies. I mean, a few people died at the beginning, but someone dies where, as the movie went on, I didn't hear mention. You hear mention of one particular person dying, but not mention of the first person that died at the beginning of the movie. I was like, but wasn't that person a professor? I'm giving things away, but definitely check it out. For the most part, great movie. Nothing that made me think like, well, why this or why that. Um, Again, the motives for this movie resembles very much of part 1 and 2. It was great. It was a great movie. Go check it out. I'm definitely gonna go and see it again. I definitely seen Scream 5 or 3 times last year when it came out at the movie. So I definitely gonna see it again. Again, let us know what you guys think. How many Ghostface do you guys give Scream? And make sure to follow us on our Instagram page, the Inner Circle Podcast, as you see right there. We are live every Wednesday with new episodes live and on time. New episodes every Wednesday. So check that out at 8 p.m. Subscribe so you don't miss a beat. We are also on Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcast. You name it, we are there. Stream us, and we'll see you on every Wednesday. Scream.